Hi, this is Solagbade. I'm offering this short audio podcast as a kind of a gift to everybody in my network. I feel that it's important that I share some of the ideas that have helped me to stay, in my opinion, stay fresh and be able to reinvent myself and and deal with different kinds of challenges that come my way, adversity, and defeat the adversity, and based on my ability to defeat the adversity, be able to grow to new levels of achievement and success every time. I don't know how many of you or how long you've been following me, each of you listening to me, I don't know, but some of you will know that I've been on this journey for quite some time, and I've had to deal with all kinds of things. Some of you are closer to me than others, and you know the kind of challenges I've had in my personal life, but I'm sure you'll also agree, without any controversy, that there has never been any experience of adversity I've had that has been able to defeat me or stop me from continuing my work. What I'm not sure many people understand, however, is that my ability to be that way is not something that comes automatically. I actually have to train myself to be that way. But I'm not going to bore you with the details of how I train myself. What I want to do is that I want to share with you the particular mental attitude that has helped me to always be able to stay open to opportunities for growth. And it has to do with the way I see the world. And I learned that through reading and other things and watching other people. And like they say, if you want to succeed, then of course, if you want to be a millionaire, I think they say that you think like a millionaire. So I wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to be successful in every field I've been in. In paid employment, I wanted to succeed, so I studied those who had gone ahead of me and succeeded in the same jobs I did, and did what they did. I tried to do it better, and I read a lot of books. So I always stayed open to learning, to knowledge, and I did not feel there was anybody that could not teach me. That was why in Guinness, one of the things that I was known for was that even as a senior manager, when I already was functioning as a senior manager, I could be found on the shop floor. The shop floor is the process area where the junior staff stay in the factory, and I will be sitting down with these people who were the most junior of staff, but who were people who, when I started my career as a trainee, had taught me the ropes and trained me before I then got promoted and made their boss, and then stepped up and went to higher positions. But I could be found amongst them, laughing and talking to them like we were just the same level. I remember getting criticized by a lot of people who were my colleagues, and I was bringing down managers by associating with junior staff. And I told them, I said, you are not me, I'm not you. If I choose to associate with the junior staff in the way I'm doing it, so long as I do not invite disrespect to myself, as you can see, they respect me, but they appreciate the friendship I offer, because they've known me since when I was just 23 years old. So I don't see any reason why I should treat them differently from how I treated them when I first met them. And they were effectively my bosses, teaching me the ropes of the job. And so that was my response. So these people who had this attitude tended to get very, compared to the result I achieved, for instance, when I was on shift, they got terrible results sometimes because they didn't have the loyalty of their workforce. In my case, I enjoyed a lot of loyalty to the point that my staff would go the extra mile to make sure nothing went wrong on my shift. Because of the kind of disposition I had, I respected them for their experience and their knowledge. I never looked down on any one of them. It did not matter how uneducated or less educated they were compared to me. I gave everybody respect. The same respect I would give when speaking to a senior person, I gave to the junior staff, because I believe that as a human being who was commanding a position in the organization, he deserved the respect. And it comes naturally to me in a sense, but at the same time I also read it in books and saw that successful people behave like that. You treat everybody regardless of perceived status with respect. And you open yourself up to opportunity to learn from everybody. Never present yourself as knowing it all. Now there's the funny thing, there's some people who practice what I consider to be called false humility. They say they do not pretend to know it all. They behave and make noise that, I'm humble, I'm open to everybody, I'm friendly with everybody. But it is in the way they respond to people and opportunities to learn from people that you know that they actually have a problem, opening themselves up to learn from others. And that's where I'm going with this. You see, I have a mental attitude in which I'm like a child when it comes to learning and dealing with life. I believe, and my experience has taught me that I'm right to believe so, and I found that other successful people behave the same way. I believe that it's important for you to constantly behave in your mind like a child. Look at the world with wonder and awe all the time. Stay open without judgment to everything around you. Give everybody around you the feeling that they can offer you wisdom, because you never know where the diamond or the gem of gold might come from anybody. It could be from a 5-year-old child. You will get inspiration that will change your life because you allowed yourself to stay open and did not present yourself to people as if, oh, there's nothing new you can tell me, I already know that. You see, the minute people get the feeling that whenever they try to share something with you, there are words like insights, perspectives. These are unique understanding that some other individual might have that you may not immediately get. It doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how many years, how many white hairs are on your head, you cannot know everything, you cannot see everything. Somebody will have a perspective that you have not considered before. That is why they say 2 heads are better than 1. You see, so you cannot always, even if you are the world's expert on something, it will not always be you that will come up with all the ideas. There will be somebody that will know something about that your field that you didn't think of before. Listen, I work with Don Dubin, for instance. Don Dubin he's now 90. I think I was thinking he was 90, but I saw the birthday post on Facebook. So he's 95 now. Now, my father is 85. But I've been a business partner with Don Dubin for quite a lot of time before we now formally dissolved the relationship, when we saw that the opportunities to do more, but by virtue of the target orders we were chasing, could not really be explored further because a lot of people just not, Africa can just not afford its services. But I was successfully recruiting at least one person, and it was a significant opportunity because it even translated to additional income earnings by virtue of a relationship with that individual with me up till today. But the point I'm trying to make is this: Don Dubin himself, somebody who has more than 50 years, that's half a century of experience, succeeding in various industries, till he became a mentor of international speakers in NASA, the National Speakers Association, America's NSA. Look, the guy is a legend of sorts. Now, this gentleman was the person I marketed across the African continent, acting as his sole agent for several years. He came to me and we consumed that relationship, consummated that relationship. My point is, there was a particular edition of a newsletter I was using to market him at that time that I published, in which I mentioned an idea to my audience that, look, go and get an extra skill, language skill. It can boost income earning opportunities for you as a speaker. This idea that a person should become a bilingual or multilingual speaker, public speaker, public speaking expert or expert who speaks. This idea came to me because of my personal experience as a bilingual expert. And I realized that my ability to communicate in both French and English while traveling had opened all kinds of doors of income earning to me, in addition to opportunities for sales of my products and services on the web. In the Republic, for instance, at the border within the Cotonou area, I was able to connect with people, and some of them came around to ask me to do things for them that they paid me money for, because I could speak French, and I could speak it very well. I could read, write, and speak French. I can read, write, and speak French. Now, when Don Dubin read the edition of that newsletter in which I shared my experiences and my insights on the fact that to succeed as a public speaker, one of the things you can do to really put yourself in a class of your own where your competitors will not be able to match you is to develop additional language speaking skills. Because once you can speak another language and deliver your lecture in another language, opportunity, a new market opens up for you. So the guy who's an English speaker, who is the best in your country, cannot compete with you if you choose to cross the border. And this thing came to me just like that. What I love about Don Dubin is this: so many times we have communicated. This man, the age difference is huge. He's almost 15 years older than I am. Come on. This man will write me and tell me, Tayo, you are good. I never thought of that. He wrote me about that particular edition of my newsletter and said, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. It's amazing. That's a wonderful piece of. And this guy was so full of praises for me. He didn't say, oh yeah, I knew that. I know, like, I'm the guru here, oh yeah, you thought of that, but I just didn't bother to say it. I knew it already. He said, no, I never thought of that. That's great coming from you. And that's the key. That's the sign of a great mind. The one that is not threatened by another person's genius. You see, the minute you become threatened by another person's genius, you are allowing yourself to be mediocre. Great minds are never threatened by anything or anybody. Great spirits are never threatened by another person's spirit. And if you find yourself struggling to acknowledge another person's genius, another person's greatness, you have a problem. You don't need to present yourself as a person that knows it all for you to be respected. And acknowledging that somebody else knows something you did not know does not reduce your greatness. This is the key to achieving lifetime, sustainable, authentic success in any field. And I will give you proof of it. There is a show that is done virtually all over the world, but I usually watch the American and British versions. It's called the Americans Got Talent show. So the Got Talent show. Then you have the Britain's Got Talent. You have South Africa's Got Talent. You have Australia's Got Talent. I've watched those four. But I'm particularly in love with the Americans Got Talent and Britain's Got Talent judges. The judges are amazing human beings. These are legends in their own right that have been selected by the organizers of the Got Talent competition to be judges who will assess genius and talent of people who are contestants. And these judges sometimes have to assess people as young as 2 years old to as old as 80 years old. I've seen them assess people of all sorts who come to display their talents. And it's always been something inspiring for me to listen to these judges and watch them show great admiration for somebody else, a child that has no accomplishment to even boast of. And they will be telling the child, you are wonderful, you are amazing, I was having good people all over, I can't get enough of you, I've got to tell you, you're going to go far, you're going to be a legend. And they'll be saying this to a little child of 8 years old who just sang one song that had not even had an album, and this person is saying to be something, a musician who is a celebrity, a legend in her own right. You know, these are accomplished people, but you see them say wow, wow, and they'll be holding their heads, jumping up and down. You know, they never try to pretend that they are cool, calm and collected. They are always willing to show. They are like children. You need to see them, the way they behave when they are responding to the performance of a particular candidate who is so gifted. They don't hide it. They don't pretend that I'm not impressed. You know, they let it show that you this child, you this individual, you are good, man. And that is the sign of a great person. We need great people to allow their greatness to show. And a great person cannot allow his or her greatness to show when he is unwilling to acknowledge another person's greatness. Great people have no problem acknowledging other people's greatness. Great people have no problem admitting that there's something they don't know. The ability to say I don't know is a sign of greatness. Because when you are great and people know that you are great and they ask you something that you don't know, or you see and hear about something you don't know, your greatness is what will make you say, you know what, I can't even know anything about it. I don't know, I may have to find out for you. Oh wow, anybody that can do that is great. You know. Anyway, so that's why I share this audio. It's the mental attitude I have. I'm able to relate with people across all ages, and I'm able to relate with people across all cultures, and I never have a problem dealing with somebody who seems to know more than I do in a field that I say I'm good, or in a field that I say I have knowledge. I'm willing to engage anybody. I never have any fear, and I never feel a need to tell anybody, oh, I already knew that, if I did not know it. In fact, even if I knew it, I like, and I've learned that it's wisdom to stay silent and let the person that saying he knows tell me all he knows, because then I know as much as he knows, if in case I do not even know what he knows. But when you already present yourself that you know, even the one you didn't know that the person knew, he will not say it now, then you will not know. Then one day your ignorance will show, because you have already said everything you know, then somebody will now ask a question that you don't know, because you pretended you knew. They expect that you know. Then you will not be able to answer it, and everybody say, God, you say you knew now, madam, you say you know now. How come you can't answer this question? So that's the key now. That's the thing. And I'm hoping that this message I'm passing across will help each listener that needs this help to take it. If you really want to grow, you have to open up yourself. If you don't allow space for new knowledge to come in, then the new knowledge that comes to you will be deflected away from you. I will end by telling you a short story about a young man who was looking for, he wanted to know how he could become successful in life. So he was told to go and look for a wise man that lived in the hills, a sage. And so he traveled for, I understand, many days, climbing the mountain or whatever, till he got to the top. It was something somewhere in Asia. This guy was an Asian. So when he got to the man, they have these Chinese people, they have these tiny cups they used to drink. Anyway, the Asian monk, the sage, was in his cave and he was meditating. So when this young man got there, he introduced himself, told him what he wanted, how he had traveled many days to get to the top of the mountain to see him. And the sage told him to sit down. Sat down. And the old man said, okay, how can I say I want to learn how to be successful in life? He said, okay. The sage tried to start talking. As the sage was talking, trying to tell him some words of wisdom, he was saying, I already know that one. I already know that one. Oh, I've thought of that. Oh no, I already knew that already. The more the sage tried to tell him things, the more this young man said, I already knew that. Oh, I already heard that. I'm familiar with that. Somebody told me that already. So at the point the sage said, would you like to have some tea? The young man said, oh yes, why not? I feel cold. So got a cup of his, the tiny Chinese cups. Then he began to pour tea for him. As he was pouring the tea, the cup got full in no time. But the old man kept pouring the tea. And the young man said, hey, stop pouring. Can't you see it's already full? Then the old man looked up at him and said, oh yeah, the cup is full. Just like you. You are too full for me to add anything to you. I can't help you because there's no space inside you to take new knowledge. You can leave. And that is the story of the person that wants to present himself or herself as if he already knows everything when people are trying to communicate to him, or when she is meeting people. If you live life like that, you will lose opportunities to get wisdom that can help you to go to the next level of achievement. It is impossible. It is impossible for any human being, no matter how wise, no matter how gifted, to know everything and have idea about everything. It is impossible. There will always be something that will surprise you. The problem is, will you allow people to know that you were surprised and impressed and amazed and awed and wowed? Will you be willing to show it? Because when you show it, you show that you are a human being. Nobody is perfect. But if you hide it, you only deceive yourself. And you only hurt yourself. And in the long run, you don't grow to the full potential that the God who created us has given you. And who are you denying? Yourself. Because if you don't go to your full potential, you don't achieve self-actualization. It's you who will be limited. It's you who will be an underachiever. Because if your potential is 10 and you're achieving at 6, you are an underachiever. So that's my message. I hope you find it useful. I hope as you go out into the world again, after listening to this message, I hope you will open yourself up and be like those Americans Got Talent judges. Simon Cowell, he usually tends to be a bit reserved. But believe me, when it's time for him to speak, you see him, you say, wow, I was awed, they were amazing. These judges are amazing human beings. I love them. These are the kind of human beings we need in society as adults. Adults who have no problem showing that there's something that amazes them and they are so moved that they open up and, like children, they just gush over you and just tell you, wow, you taught me something new today. That's, you know what it does for people? It makes people just flourish. And that's what we need. We need a society of people that appreciate one another without reservation. I hope that you are going to be that kind of person that will inspire others by your openness and your willingness to show that you can be amazed by what they do. I wish you well.